Hello, everybody, and welcome again to Revolution Live.
Hi everyone,
My name is Alon,
I'm Elik.
welcome everybody. We already have 5 people here, so nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you everyone.
Again, I want to ask that you write in the chat if the sound is good or not, because we're using the new microphone just to make sure that everything is working properly. And today we want to continue the discussion that we started a couple of days ago. Hello from Ireland, the sound is good. Hello from Occupied Palestine, and thank you for the info. People are saying that the sound is good, so thanks, guys.
Nice.
So today we want to continue the discussion that we started a couple of days ago about the movie No Other Land and about and using it as like a case study for the discussion about normalization.
Because we're not talking about the movie, right? We're talking
Yeah.
about much deeper stuff using that movie and all the fuss and the buzz that was around it.
Yeah, we did talk about the movie also
Right.
because we think that the movie is an important one, and that discussing the movie specifically and directly is important.
Yeah.
But also it connects to another discussion which is important within itself, and we even want to do a whole episode of the One State Solution podcast about this discussion about normalization. What is normalization? What is considered normalization? How does normalization work? How is normalization used by the system to continue its control, and so forth and so on. And we also we will start from a few things that are on the news right now. Just briefly, we will touch on a few issues, and then we will dive back into this topic. But before we start, Elik wants to read a quote which we think is very relevant. So you want to say where this quote is from?
It's hard to choose. It's a bit long. I think I read it's like two pages, 3 pages like this. It's
Okay.
It's from Muhammad Al-Kurd's book, Perfect Victims. I think a lot of people were talking about this book.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a very powerful book. And I think it's for all the people who care about this cause and also about fighting the empire in other causes.
Yes, maybe fighting injustice in general.
And fighting injustice. This is a very good book. He touched on some really crucial points, and it's very relevant to our discussion, right? Like what I sent to you. So
maybe you just explain briefly who is Muhammad Al-Kurd, just so.
He's a journalist and a poet. That actually we grew up as neighbors in Jerusalem.
Interesting. He's a similar age to you, or
he's a bit younger?
Really? Let's see how old he is. Al-Kurd. He is 26. Oh, he's much younger. Oh, he's very young. Okay, 26 years old, and so you grew up next to each other.
Yeah, and he is a very good speaker, and I think he really raised the bar of what is Palestinians allowing themselves to say, to express. And to me, really helped change. I had many stuff that I listened to that really changed my mind on this issue and sparked my journey. And listening to him, was really important. Like his long interview that he gave on the Lex Friedman podcast, 2 years ago, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I still like to listen to interviews with him. I think he's a very inspiring person.
Mm-hmm. So read the quote.
Yeah. So I will read it and then we discuss how it's relevant to what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The rallying cry that we are all Palestinians must abandon the metaphor and manifest materially. meaning all of us, Palestinians or otherwise, must embody the Palestinian condition of resistance and refusals, in refusal in the life we lead and the company we keep. Meaning we reject our complicity in this bloodshed, in our inertia, when confronted with all that blood. Meaning Gaza cannot stand alone in sacrifice. We all have to take sacrifices.
Yeah, I think already we can stop and discuss a little bit, because this connects in my mind already to the whole discussion about whether we call ourselves Palestinians or not, because technically we do not believe that this place is called Israel. We believe that this land is called Palestine. So it implies that if we were born in this land, we were born in Palestine, which would make us definitely from Palestine.
Yeah.
But does it make us Palestinians? Because this word carries a lot of weight, right? There's a lot of connotations with this word. One of the connotations is victims of the supremacist Zionist system, Zionist regime, which we are not as much as actual Palestinians living in the West Bank and Gaza.
Yeah.
But it is true that the more we connect ourselves with the cause of freeing Palestine and dismantling the Zionist regime, the more we are victims of this regime, right?
Correct.
We are being persecuted by this regime. So this is really interesting that he says this. We have to connect ourselves with the goal of with being Palestinians. And I notice that the more I do this, the more I'm being persecuted by Zionism, which maybe means that it is a danger to Zionism, that he knows what he's talking about, and that this is a danger to Zionism the more we do this.
I also thought that, and because I keep reading his book and I take it as criticism to me, and I feel that in a way, to be worthy of the title of being Palestinians, we need to be willing to sacrifice. Now, how big is the sacrifice? What sacrifice? We're doing it when we speak now, but sometimes I feel it's not enough. I told you when I walked with you to the train station last time, that I feel it's not enough to speak to a camera. I feel like I want to do more. I'm scared. But if this thing is important to us, we need to sacrifice. I think it's a big part of it. Should I continue?
Yes, continue.
But the task is difficult. Can we defeat Zionism and end its monstrous reign? What is it?
Reign is like control.
Yeah. It's even more difficult to define. Fragmentations means that different things are asked of us in different locales. We face disparate challenges.
Like different challenges.
Yeah, his English is better than mine.
Yeah, his English is very good. I see. He's a master of language. I see.
Yeah, he's a poet also. There's a lot of things that are very poetic also. We face disparate challenges and circumstances. Can we reverse the effects of fragmentation? Collective struggle seems impossible in hyper-capitalist, hyper-surveilled world. Unscrupulous logic tells us political discipline is ineffective weapon, that our efforts are in vain. And personal sacrifices, quitting job and self-immolation, the thousands of things in between might feel futile because they crush the doer while barely denting the status quo.
Yeah, that's highly related to what we were just talking. He is saying we need to sacrifice. What do we need to sacrifice?
Yeah.
Both of us don't really have normal jobs anymore here in occupied Palestine, because it's not just like it's impossible and also really like difficult on an emotional level to keep a normal job in Israel, okay, in this place called Israel. And this, if you are anti-Zionist, if you consider yourself someone who is against this cult, this regime, this system, it is impossible to get along with those who are still in this cult, this system, this regime. And keeping a normal job is something that you cannot do. So sacrifice this. And yes, it's sometimes like I sometimes think, why am I even doing this?
Yeah.
I'm dedicating so much time into doing all kinds of stuff, and yes, I could do much more, but I feel like I'm doing a lot, and it feels futile.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm doing nothing actually. So
It's
I don't
hard
know.
feeling. Yeah, and sometimes I feeling, am I just preaching to the choir? Sometimes,
Yes.
like, I feel maybe I need to go more confrontational with people from my own society. But it's scary, and it's always constant dialogue with your own fears, and I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
But this is not about their status quo. It's about ours.
That's very good.
It's about our relationship with ourselves and our communities. The few moments of reflection before drifting to sleep, the brief encounter with the mirror in the morning, when we ask ourselves, what are the pretenses that absolve us from participating in history? This is like, that's the question. I think everybody watching this should ask themselves this
Yes,
question.
we have a lot of excuses for why not to become revolutionary.
Yeah.
Why just continue in our normal lives and cooperate with Zionism, with capitalism, with human supremacy, with the non-human animal holocaust, with patriarchy, with religion, with the empire, with I don't know, everything.
Here we are on different planets in different realities. Statements that include should or must run the risk of being disparaging and short-sighted. Yet I cannot help but think that this consequential moment calls us to raise the ceiling of what is permissible, that it demands that we renew our commitment to the truth, to spitting the truth,
Unflinchingly.
Yes.
Yes.
Unabashedly, cleverly, no matter in what conference room, no matter in whose face. Such bravery is asked of us now. Not when gardens grow over our martyr's grave, not when the debris is swept up and sculpted into memorials, and not when the bloodiest press vests of our fallen journalists rest eternally in shadow boxes. Those of us with platforms, with some level of protection, with some social capital and actual capital, must dare to shift culture and not only talk about the necessity to shifting culture. Because Gaza cannot fight the empire on its own. Or to us, an embittered proverb my grandmother used to.
And to use an embittered proverb, my grandmother
is used
to mutter.
Used to mutter at the evening news. They asked the pharaoh, "Who made you a pharaoh?" He replied, "No one stopped me."
Yeah.
This is a good one, huh?
Yeah. So it seems to me like Muhammad Al-Kurd is telling us to do what we're doing. Okay, maybe we can do more of it. Maybe we can do it in other forms. But it is true that when we do what we do, our first and foremost commitment is to the truth, is to speaking the truth as publicly as we can.
Yeah.
And this is related to what we were saying about Yuval Avraham the other day, right?
Yeah.
That our biggest criticism against him or about him is that he didn't use the opportunity that he had, the platform that he had, the privilege that he had, the capital that he had to speak the truth very clearly, right?
Yeah. That was, and it's hard, day after I wrote you a message, maybe we criticized him too much because he did such a good movie and he's such an amazing activist and he's been attacked in Israel by Zionists. Why do we need to add attacks from the left, But the thing is that it's not about him personally. It's about, I think the key, I wanted to send it to you because he said, raise the ceiling of what is permissible. And this movie raised the ceiling, but we shouldn't say, it's enough now, just bravo.
Because the ceiling is lower than the floor now. The ceiling is in hell right now.
Yeah. So
the ceiling is in the depths of hell, and raising it, a meter or 2 meters, it's not enough. We need to raise it, so much.
Yeah, so by criticizing, it's not that we're saying that what it achieved is not good. What we're saying that if we want this achievement to be valuable, we need to continue to raise the ceiling higher.
Yes.
We need to create a situation where the truth prevails, where justice prevails. So the empire survive on lies.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, the lie that I think we talked about it last time, about all the hostage situation, how they obscure it, is like both sides just kidnapped people, and we need to just say they should be released and they should be released. Of course, all the people who have been kidnapped need to be released, but we need to give the right context to what happens. We cannot just present it like this. So I think this is the important thing that we're trying to do.
Yes, and maybe I can raise this point that we talked about before already now, that we got a bunch of comments.
Is there an audio issue?
Is there an audio issue? Oh no, no sound.